All right, today we're diving into something pretty incredible. It's a platform called Ask Thulasi, and it's using AI to completely rethink how we train our future doctors, nurses, and clinicians.
Okay, let me ask you something. What if a student doctor could mess up 1,000 times before ever meeting their first real patient? I'm talking about practicing those really tough, emotionally charged conversations and just failing safely with absolutely no consequences. That's the big idea we're digging into today. Now, to really get why something like this is such a game changer, we have to talk about a huge gap in healthcare education. And honestly, it's a problem you'll find pretty much everywhere. It really boils down to three big hurdles. First off, students just don't see enough different kinds of patients, enough unique cases. Second, there's this giant training gap when it comes to the so-called soft skills, empathy, how you talk to people. And third, the old way of doing things, using simulation labs with real actors, it's just crazy expensive and almost impossible to scale up. So, how do you even begin to fix all that? Well, this is where Ask Thulasi steps in. Their solution? An AI patient that's not only scalable but, and this is the key part, emotionally intelligent. And let's be super clear here. When we say virtual AI patient, we are not talking about a simple chatbot. Not even close. We're talking about an AI that can have a totally realistic, voice-based conversation. It can feel anxious or angry or even relieved, and its reaction depends entirely on how the student is talking to it. When you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. Traditional sims, you need human actors, which is a logistical nightmare and costs a fortune. Ask Thulasi, it's an emotionally adaptive AI that's ready whenever you are. It's on demand. Plus, it smashes through geographical barriers because it's multilingual. And maybe the biggest deal of all, you get objective, data-driven feedback instead of someone's subjective opinion. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's pull back the curtain. I want to take you inside the virtual clinic so you can see what it's actually like to be a student using this thing. The whole process is super straightforward. Step 1, you pick a patient from this marketplace full of different cases. Step 2, you just talk to them. You have a real conversation, ask questions, maybe order some labs or check their vitals. Then, step 3, you get this incredibly detailed feedback from the AI that breaks down the entire interaction, helping you see what you did right and where you can improve. And we're not talking about generic, boring patient profiles here. No way. This marketplace is packed with specific, nuanced personas that feel like real people. You might get an anxious diabetic patient who's been scaring themselves with Google searches, or maybe an elderly stroke survivor who's having issues with their caregiver. These are the messy, human situations that are almost impossible to practice in a classroom. So what's the secret sauce that makes it feel so real? It's something they call the emotion engine. Basically, the AI is listening to the student's tone, their choice of words, and it adjusts the patient's emotions in real time. If you sound kind of dismissive, the AI patient might clam up, but if you sound genuinely empathetic, they'll start to open up. It's incredible. And this isn't just for English speakers. The whole platform is built to be global. They already support over 7 languages and are adding more, like French and Swahili. Think about what that means. A student isn't just practicing their medical knowledge. They're practicing how to communicate with people from different backgrounds, which, let's be honest, is a huge, huge challenge in healthcare. Okay, so practice is great, but practice without good feedback doesn't get you very far, right? This, right here, is where the platform's real magic lies. It can actually measure the things that have always been so hard to pin down, things like empathy. So after every single simulation, the AI coach gives you a detailed score, and just look at what it's measuring. Empathy is 30% of the score, listening is 25%. This isn't just about did you get the diagnosis right, it's about how you treated the patient. It gives you real, concrete data on your bedside manner. And the feedback isn't just some boring report card. They have this thing called Ask Back mode that actually turns it into a conversation. So instead of just saying your empathy score was a 6 out of 10, the AI coach might ask something like, at what point in the conversation did you feel the patient start to pull away? It actually makes you think and reflect on what happened. What's really cool is that this isn't just for the students, it's a win for everybody. For students, obviously, it's a safe sandbox to learn and make mistakes. For the teachers, the faculty, it's an amazing way to assign and track this kind of training without drowning in work. And really, that reliability, that professional focus, it all points to their bigger mission. This was never about building a slightly better chatbot. The real goal here is to create an AI that can speak, feel, and actually evolve right alongside the person who's learning.
There's a quote from the team that I think just perfectly sums it all up. They say, AI patients give learners a voice. Digital twins give those patients a salt. It's this idea of going beyond a single doctor's visit to simulating an entire life story. That's where the really deep learning happens.
And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. If we can actually use AI to train an entire generation of doctors and nurses to be more empathetic, what does that do to the future of healthcare? How does that change the experience of being a patient for every single